Across a crystal lake stood a stag, staring towards the hunter's arrow. Breathing in slowly, the hunter's knee had begun to ache as he held the creature's thin legs and icy antlers in sight. Ravens cawed from the withered branches above, blending with the darkening sky as shadows, bound to the oncoming night as any fool who crossed through the pass. The hunter fired. He missed. Dashing away, the stag nearly vanished as the failure chased on with careful steps around the ice. Noticing tracks in the snow moving up a ridge, he continued. Should he starve, the mountain may offer solace. Pebbles and dirt would fall onto the hunter's greasy scalp, prompting him to pull up his hood. It blinded his wider view. Careless, perhaps stubborn, he journeyed on. Numb fingers shook and turned to stone as this dreamer clung to his bow. Despite the bear fur enveloping his limbs, the time he'd spent in the snow poisoned every bone and crevice in his flesh. Blackened teeth chattered endlessly. Rashes and trenchfoot scarred this frail being desperate for the stag, armed with nothing but scraps of rats to feast upon. The frozen breath of the earth stung his face and hands. This clamber tested the hunter's drive as he heaved his body up. He barely withstood the wrath of the wind. The string of his bow was torn by a rock as he climbed. Dying skies now clouded the glow of the moon. All that remained was a soft white glow beyond the hue of the northern lights. The hunter crashed into the snow from sheer exhaustion. He felt ready to give in. A huff was heard. Lifting his shaking skull upwards, he saw it. The stag. Chewing on grass, this cunning creature cared not for the tired man nearby. He treaded carefully, no. He crawled silently. The hunter snarled like a beast under his weakened breath before rushing the stag. The pair sprinting across the passage down to a slope of snow. An avalanche occurred. They plunged into a strong current, being carried downstream. The hunter kept gasping for air as the mountain collapsed in his now distant view. Eventually, he was battered by boulders in the river and cast onto shore with dry, wet coughs, wheezing as he crawled and fell once more. Time passed this weary, bygone soldier. Aurora waves hovered above angelically. He turned his head to see that the stag had washed ashore too, seemingly injured from the cataclysm preceding both their fates. Digging his nails into the grains of this pebble-coated shoreline, the hunter dragged himself over with a knife. He killed it, laughing to himself quietly. Tears streamed down his soaking face to the mountainous peak of his nose. After gathering what he sought, the hunter stopped as he heard a branch break nearby. His head bolted in the direction of another stag across the river. So, the hunt carries on, bounding ceaselessly into the endless forests of the dark.